Rash Radio.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
MiamiRollerDerby.com, in conjunction with 247Miami.tv, is proud to present Rink Rash Radio. 60 minutes of everything roller derby in the 305. Visit MiamiRollerDerby.com for more information on upcoming bouts and events. And now, Rink Rash Radio.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. This is the third episode of Rink Rash Radio, and we're so excited to be here. We've got a bout coming up, and we can't wait to tell you more about it. January 31st, check us out. www.miamiroller.com, MiamiRollerDerby.com. It's going to be a double header. We have next weekend, Saturday, January 31st, doors open at 5:30 p.m. Game kicks off with the juniors at 6 p.m.
I don't know what the hell's going on with it. All right, is this rolling? Yeah. Okay, don't mess with it. Let me get this thing up. Somebody's been messing with my crap. Window, workspace, default. Thank you. Close. Let's start this again. We're rolling. You're good? Yeah. All right, and just let it.
What should I do?
Just hang tight.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right.
MiamiRollerDerby.com, in conjunction with 247Miami.tv, is proud to present Rink Rash Radio. 60 minutes of everything roller derby in the 305. Visit MiamiRollerDerby.com for more information on upcoming bouts and events. And now, Rink Rash Radio.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from
Miami's Vice City Rollers.
Welcome to the third episode of Rink Rash Radio. We're so excited to be here, and we can't wait to tell you more about our upcoming bout. That's next Saturday. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. It's a double header, which means we have 2 for 1, 2 games for the price of 1. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Kicks off with the juniors. Our junior roller derby team, the Miami's Little Misdemeanors, are playing the Jacks Roller Rebels, and they're from Jacksonville, Florida. They start off at 6 p.m. And the main event, Miami's Vice City Roller versus Molly Roger Roller Girls at 8 o'clock at the Sunnyland Hockey Rink, 9300 Coral Reef Drive. That's the corner of 152nd Street and US 1, right next to the Palmetto Golf Course. You can get tickets for $10 in advance. You can visit www.miamirollerderby.com. Click on our brown paper tickets link, and you got $10 tickets in advance. Kids 10 and under are free. It's going to be a whole family event, so come check us out. We're going to be talking about the bout. We've got a great show lined up. I've got a guest here from the Miami Brawlers, the Men's Roller Derby League, Mike. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
And we're also going to be calling in some guests today. We have Assassin. She's one of our junior roller derby skaters, and she actually founded a nonprofit called Hygiene for the Hopeful. And so we'll be calling her in and talking about her nonprofit, and she'll be also at the bout. We've also got a couple of special guests from Molly Roger Roller Girls. We have Mason Voorhees and Super Pie from Molly Roger Roller Girls. So we'll be calling them. That's what's coming up for the show. But first, I did want to talk a little bit about the bout. We have some amazing community sponsors that are coming out. Kawaii Universe. If you've ever seen the girl with the purple hair, and she's got some amazing stickers, and she does all the art events and stuff like that. She'll be coming out and just to have a table at her event. We'll also have the Marked for Life tattoo shop. They're going to come out and they're going to have a table as well. So if you're thinking about getting some ink, you can come and ask some questions from the people over at Marked for Life. They'll be there. And then we'll also, of course, music by DJ Nancy Starr. She's our team DJ. She'll be kicking it up a little bit with some punk rock songs this time, changing it up. And then we'll also be having big shout out, of course, to Dr. Nessie, who helps us. He's a chiropractor that definitely helps us prepare for the games and keeps us in good shape. And last thing I wanted to mention about the bout is the pregame show. 24/7 Miami will be broadcasting 2 hours of pregame show, interviewing the skaters, talking about belt fits, everything about roller derby for 2 hours before the show. And there will be a live feed. You can catch that on 247miami.tv. We'll also be working on broadcasting it through miamirollerderby.com. So if you can't make it, check out the website, miamirollerderby.com or 247miami.tv, and we'll have the live feed of the game so you can get all your roller derby action. 2-for-1 deal, $10 on Saturday, January 31st. That's next Saturday, $10 for pre-sale tickets. And all right, so now that we talked about the bout, Mike, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us, your name, how you got into derby.
Well, my name is Mike, and I don't have a roller derby name yet, but
we'll definitely need to work on that one. So you actually, that's a good point, right? Because this is kind of one of the initiating phases of being a derby player is you get to come up with your own name, right?
Yep.
So we were talking earlier about a possible name that you had, and
well, I saw Mike check 1212, which is probably the best name I've seen with the name Mike, and I'm pretty jealous that I didn't get that one, but I'm still thinking. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm open for that.
Absolutely. If anybody's listening in and wants to offer Mike some suggestions as to some really cool roller derby names, just tweet us at NBC Rollers, and we'll share them with Mike, and maybe we can come up with something.
Sounds good.
It'd be awesome. So how'd you get into roller derby?
Well, my fiance started roller derby, and I was pretty jealous. I came to one practice. I came with my dog, and I showed up, and everybody was skating around, and it looked like a lot of fun. So when she went to go buy her skates, I was like, I'm getting a pair of skates too, and we're going to the local roller skating ring, Super Wheels. Yeah. So we went there, and I loved it, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to play this game. So I started watching videos on YouTube, and then she told me I could come in and start reffing. And then I found out that we had the men's team was starting up. So on February 2nd, we're doing our open house for
that's right.
The men's Miami roller derby.
We need some guys to play, right?
Yep.
So it's the men's open house is coming up on February 2nd.
Yep.
And that's a Monday night. And what time is it at?
I think it's at 7.
At 7 p.m. Exactly. So
yeah.
Guys, if you're interested in getting in on some action, check out Miami Brawlers. They have their open house on February 2nd, Monday. It's a Monday night at 7 p.m. And it's also at the Sunnyland Hockey Rink at 9300 Coral Reef Drive. So what's it like to play with your fiance? I mean, that's kind of, you guys are doing this thing together. That's kind of different.
It's cool. We're still both fresh meat, so we're still learning a lot. We both have a lot to learn, but it's interesting. We go home and we talk about derby all the time. We're in the car. Oh my God, did you see what happened? Oh my God, I was able to do this or that. So it's pretty interesting, and it's good to be able to talk after the events because you get good insight from other people that are watching you. So.
That's awesome. So what have you gotten out of playing? Like, because a lot of guys will come, they'll support the women, and then they'll be like, but they won't get involved. So why'd you get involved?
I enjoy it. I grew up skating, and I played water polo and swimming. Right. So I'm all about, the activity, and I'm getting older, so I need to do some exercise. So it was.
What made it different? What made it different for you?
The sport is very intense.
Yeah.
I'm fairly new to it, but I refereed my first bout, the last bout that we had, and it was very, very intense. It was eye-opening to see so many things going on at the same time. Right. It's an interesting sport. It's not like any other sport that I've ever played. There's a lot of offense and defense played at the same exact time. So you have to be worried about your girl that's trying to make it through or your guy that's trying to make it through. And you have to worry about the other team's jammer trying to get through. So you're always thinking both ways. It's pretty interesting.
That's actually an interesting topic. Like, what's it like to watch a bout from the referee's perspective? I mean, what are you looking for? Because there's different types of refs too, right? Like, there's not just you're looking at. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how the setup works?
Well, I was a backpack ref. So I was in.
What does that mean?
That means that you're behind the pack of players. So
what is a pack?
The pack is the group of players where there's the most of both teams.
Okay.
And I stand behind them and I make sure that the pack stays together. If anybody breaks off the pack going back, it's my responsibility to call no pack and bring the pack back together.
So essentially, the most amount of skaters within 10 feet from each other is called a pack.
The pack.
And as a backpack ref, you're making sure that they're staying in the legal zone in order to play with each other, it's called the engagement zone, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so what other positions are there for refs?
There's the jammer ref, one jammer ref for each side.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do they do?
Their focus is only to watch that one jammer.
Okay.
You pick one team. So one ref has the white and one ref has the black team, or vice versa. And they just focus on following that person around. Once the jammer gets through the pack, they blow their whistle and one becomes the lead jammer and the other one's not the lead jammer, and just follow them around.
And the lead jammer is the first one to come out of the pack, which is the most amount of blockers. So that's the lead jammer, which allows them to be able to call off the jam before the 2 minutes are up for that jam.
Correct.
So what are you looking out for when you're a jam ref? What are you looking at?
You're just paying attention to what that person's doing. Make sure they're not trying to cut the track. Make sure they're not doing any high blocks or low blocks.
You're looking for penalties.
Penalties, yeah.
And you're keeping score.
And keeping score. Every time the jammer passes a person, it's a point after they've broken through the pack one time.
Right. So you're scoring as a jam ref, and you're also making sure there's no penalties and stuff like that.
Correct.
So have you been able? Have you done jam reffing yet?
I've only done it in a scrimmage. It was pretty exciting.
What was exciting about it?
It's interesting because you're following the fastest person on the track. So you're literally skating in a smaller circle, but you're trying to chase them down the track, and it's pretty intense.
So does that mean you got to skate really fast too?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's
it's a smaller space, but
right.
You're still skating and trying to keep up with them.
Right. And trying to avoid the other refs that are in there. It can get kind of chaotic.
So how many refs are there in a bout?
There could be up to 6, I believe.
Okay.
2, 4, 5. Yes.
So you have a backpack ref.
Uh-huh.
You have a jammer ref.
Right.
And then what else?
The front pack ref.
A front pack ref.
And then there's 2 on the outside.
2 outside refs.
They're on the outside of the ring.
Outside of the rink. Right. And what do they do?
Same concept. It's just same thing. Just help out the inside pack refs. Watching the line on the outside. Anybody gets close to the line or goes cuts the track on the outside, they're usually making those calls.
Okay, so they're making the calls from the other perspective and seeing the other side of the track and like making sure that nobody's cutting on that side or making other illegal penalties or anything like that. Correct. So you basically have a good 360 view of what's going on.
Correct. That's the idea.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. So again, the men's roller derby team, they're having an open house. They're looking for skaters to join, and so they can kick off. And it's Monday night, February 2nd at 7 p.m. The same place, 9300 Coral Reef Drive, the Sunnyland Hockey Rink. And again, we do have our bout coming up next weekend. We're excited. We've been training really freaking hard. And it's going to be, I feel, my best game ever. And so that's Saturday, January 31st, www.miamirollerderby.com. You can click on the brown paper tickets link for pre-sale tickets. They're $10. Kids 10 and under are free, $12 at the door. It's a double header, meaning there's going to be 2 for 1. You get 2 bouts of roller derby, fast-paced, hard-hitting action. We start with the Miami's Little Misdemeanors versus the Jack's Roller Rebels, followed by Miami's Vice City Rollers and the Molly Roger Roller Girls. And coming up, we do have Assassin. She's going to be, she's a junior skater, and she'll be talking about Hygiene for the Hopeful, which is her nonprofit that she founded. And she's also, we'll also have 2 skaters from Molly Roger Roller Girls, which will be calling in. That is Mason Voorhees and Super Pie are going to be on the show. So, excuse me, Mike, open house coming up.
February
come
2nd.
Out. Why should they come out?
No experience required. If you don't know how to skate, we'll teach you. Come out.
Also, we have loaner gear.
Yeah, and we have loaner gear.
What is that? What's loaner gear?
We've got some roller skates all the way up to size 13 or 14. I think it's crazy. And we'll teach you how to skate. You know, if you have experience skating, great. If you don't, come and we'll show you.
Come kick some ass,
Yeah.
basically. So bring the right attitude, bring some commitment. We'll give you some gear if you need it and kick you off right. Thank you for listening. That was the first segment. And next up, Assassin from Hygiene for the Hopeful. It's Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. This is Wilma Shakespeare
Anger.
and Disaster Chief.
from Miami's Vice City Rollers, inviting you to tune in to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. New shows every Saturday at 9 p.m.
With encore replays Monday at noon and 10 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
And Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and again at 10 p.m.
Find out everything you've ever wanted to know about roller derby in the 305
Get the 411 on the women's team.
The men's team,
and even the juniors.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio
Rink Rash Radio.
on 247miami.tv.
sorry, what? I can't hear you. ABC.
By skaters, for skaters. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from
Miami's Vice City Rollers.
Welcome to segment 2 of Rink Rash Radio. We have a special guest for you today. We have Assassin. She is our junior roller derby skater from the Miami's Little Misdemeanors. And Assassin is special. She founded a nonprofit called Hygiene for the Hopeful. And she's going to be playing at our bout coming up on Saturday, January 31st. That's next Saturday. The juniors team are actually going to be kicking off the bout. Doors open at 5:30. The game starts. The juniors team starts at 6 p.m. And if you can visit MiamiRollerDerby.com, you can get your tickets $10 in advance. They're $12 at the door. Kids 10 and under are free. And we're here. We're going to be talking. It's at the Sunnyland Hockey Rink. Of course, you need to know where it's at. 9300 Coral Reef Drive. That's the corner of 152nd Street and US 1. That's right next to the Palmetto Golf Course. So come check out. You get 2-for-1 roller derby action. And so here with us is Assassin. And we're going to be, she's dialing in. And she's going to be explaining the hygiene for the hopeful. Let's Assassin, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Awesome, Assassin. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what does assassin mean, actually? Because it's
assassin means, I don't really have a name behind it. Kind of like when my mom started really, she made an accent, and those do it because of the daughter thing. So we came up with assassin.
Okay, so it's a little difficult to hear you right now. We're gonna see if we can figure that out. But Assassin, Hygiene for the Hopeful. It's a nonprofit. You recently got a 501c3 status on that, and essentially what it is basically collecting personal hygiene products for people who need it. Is that correct? Okay, and so how'd you get started? Where'd you get this idea from?
Well, one time they were just kind of like, cleaning out the garage, and we found all these things. And I asked my mom, and I was like, what do I do with these? Like, why do we have so many? And she was like, oh, just throw it away. We won't need them. And I didn't want to do that. Like, I knew that there was a need for them. Well, I assumed. So I went online, and I tried to find some places that would accept them. And I found Place of Hope. And I started donating there, and I loved it. So we just kind of went from there.
And so, okay, so you said that your mother had given you some stuff to throw away, some like little shampoos and conditioners, and you're like, well, let's not throw it away. Let's do something with it, right? And you found a nonprofit organization that you could donate to, and that's how you got started. When was that? When did you actually start Hygiene for the Hopeful?
We kind of like thought of it. I can like change, but it started in 2011.
In 2011?
Yes.
Okay, and so. Why do you what have you done with it, or what's the big idea? Like, why is it so important for you to do this nonprofit?
Well, it's important to me because there's so many other foundations there for toys or cancer, like for so many other things, and I feel like there's really a need for hygiene. And I feel like be more confident with yourself if you know that you just had a shower or something like that. So I think that it's awesome, and I love it because there's not a lot out there.
Right. I could definitely hear that. And how old are you, Assassin?
13.
You're 14? 13. 13 years old. Wow. What grade are you in?
8th.
You're in 8th grade, and you're in 8th grade, and you play roller derby, and you've started your own nonprofit, which recently got its 501c3 status.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing. As Assassin, you also play. You don't play roller derby by yourself in your family, right? Like there's someone else involved.
Originally, my sister and my mom started, and my sister.
Your mom and your sister started playing roller derby?
Yes.
How?
And, my sister, she kind of like decided her thing, but my mom continued. My mom loved it. Not really got me into it because after that I started doing cheer. So it's cool.
You're breaking up a little bit, but essentially, it's really. I think I talked to your mom earlier, and she plays for Dub City, and so it's pretty cool, like being able to play with your mom and just kick some butt. Like I think that's really, really cool. So you'll be at the bout. You're gonna be at the bout. You're actually playing in the bout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you'll be playing. You'll be kicking ass, playing some roller derby with the Miami's Little Misdemeanors, and you're gonna have someone there representing Hygiene for the Hopeful. Your mom will be there representing Hygiene for the Hopeful. So if anyone wants to, you guys could bring some personal hygiene products to donate to Hygiene for the Hopeful. I think last time we had a really successful event, the December bout, where you raised over, I think, $100 and had like enough collections or donations given to, provide for like 30 different people. I think that's what we had talked about.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a really big success.
And we're so glad to be able to support you in this endeavor. I mean, 14 years old, 8th grade, kicking ass at roller derby, started your own nonprofit. Assassin, we need more kids like you. There's no doubt. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I'm super impressed, and we can't wait to see you play and kick some ass at our bout next Saturday, January 31st. You guys can get tickets and watch Assassin at MiamiRollerDerby.com.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for joining us, Assassin. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Okay. Bye.
All right, take care. That was Assassin, folks, from the junior roller derby team, Miami's Little Misdemeanors, and we're just so impressed. That's what's great about the juniors. I mean, they come and they do this amazing sport, and they just kick off. Like I think Thrilla. I mean, she started when she was like 7 years old, and now she's what, like 13 and 13
Something
years
like
old,
that.
13, 14, and she's taking names and she's kicking ass out there.
Yeah,
you know.
She can kick my butt pretty well.
What's cool to me is like not only Assassin and then Thrilla, also their mothers play derby.
Yeah.
And how cool is it to be able to kick your mom's butt? You grounded me last week. Well, I'm gonna go there and take it out on you. And it's cool. It's perfect. Roller derby is perfect. It brings families together.
And like last week when we were talking about Alpacalypse and her family, that she just got all her siblings in, and now she can beat up on them too.
She got her brothers involved, her little sister involved, and it's a family affair. I mean, Mike, you've got your fiance playing with you. I mean, anybody can just play together, and it's something that
Look
really
forward to hitting each other.
She beats up on me.
She beats up on you on the track.
On the track.
Well, we're I'm super excited for the bout coming up January 31st. Come check us out. We've been training really, really hard. And coming up, we do have the Molly Roger Roller Girls, Mason Voorhees, and also Super Pie from the Molly Roger Roller Girls. And they're going to come out and play with us. And we've played with them before. I think last year, exactly almost a year from now, was the last time I played with Molly Roger Roller Girls. I think they were my first bout. So bout day, what do you do to prepare for bout day, Anger?
I go to Starbucks, but that's kind of how I prepare for every day, so it's not a big difference.
We did go to Starbucks before we came to the show.
We did.
Yeah, there's your giant frappuccino to prove it.
So delicious.
So you go to Starbucks. Any other pre-bout rituals, or you just try to clear your head?
For a while, I kept losing my sunglasses, so I would make Target runs every bout day. But Other than that, I just kind of hang out until it's time to go and set up for the game.
Cool. Mike, you haven't bouted yet, but we're going to get you there.
Yep. Pretty excited.
Yeah. Bout days are so much fun. There's so much that goes on because it's not just the refs. It's the skaters that come out and they start stretching, they start preparing. It's, the volunteers setting up the rink. I mean, yeah, we got to lay down the track. We got to, then our booth people come out and they start setting up. We got to move the bleachers in. Like, it's an entire production, and you get to see fans. You'll be able to get to see the pregame show, and you can watch the live feed if you're not able to make it on 247miami.tv. And so Molly Roger Roller Girls, they're coming down. They'll be playing with us Saturday, January 31st. And then we'll be coming up there, I think, later on this year as well. We've got a whole, lineup of bouts. And this is the first bout of the year. Join the Miami Roller Derby Revolution. And so January 31st, Saturday, www.miamirollerderby.com for some tickets. And that's a doubleheader. You get 2-for-1 deal, 2 games for the price of one, $10 in advance. And so we, to prepare for the game, we've been going out and passing out flyers. I went to the Magic City Comic Con and I was handing out flyers to people, talking to fans. I mean, I love talking to people about Derby, and I get different responses from everybody. Some people are like, nah, no thanks. Some people are like, what? That is so cool. I remember roller derby. I mean, Mike, you were talking about you remember roller derby from the bank track, right?
Yeah. Only from TV, and it was totally different than from what it really is, and it's a lot more exciting than I thought. Most people say roller derby, and you tell them, "Oh, I play roller derby." What? You play roller derby? Is that a girl sport?
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's your response to that? Like, it's a girl sport.
It's not a girl sport because I'm playing, but it's exciting. I tell people all the time, yeah, you get to hit people. You're skating on wheels, so they go flying. It's a lot of fun.
It truly is. But I think to me, the fun part is introducing somebody to something new that they've never seen before. And then they actually come out and they're like, oh my God, that was amazing. These girls are skating and they're kicking ass and they're hitting each other hard, and you went to Art Walk recently and talked to people. So why don't you tell me about your Art Walk experience? I think you had an interesting character you ran into.
Oh yeah. We ran into a guy with a Mexican wrestler mask on a tricycle.
A Mexican wrestling mask on a tricycle.
Yes.
What was he doing?
Handing out papers. So we traded a flyer for a paper. So hopefully he'll come out. And then, we had a lot of good responses from people. I remember there was this one girl who we handed her a flyer and she looked at it and she freaked out. And apparently she had just moved into town and she was like, I've been looking for this. This is what I've been looking for. And I was like, come on out.
Nice. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We run into people, we tell them about it, we raise awareness. MiamiRollerDerby.com. Join the revolution. We're always looking for skaters, volunteers, non-skating officials. Those are NSOs. Come out and play with us, party with us. We have a great, great freaking time. MiamiRollerDerby.com. Next game, Saturday, January 31st. Doors open at 5:30. Kicks off at 6 p.m. with the juniors, Miami's Little Misdemeanors, followed by the Miami's Vice City Rollers.
I want a girl with uninterrupted to cut through red and a voice and sharp as a tack. She's touring. I want a girl with the short skirt and a long.
Yes. Sure.
say she loves to be one of the girls. She lives in the place at the side of our lives where nothing is ever put straight. She turns herself around and she smiles and she says, this is it, that's the end of the joke. And loses herself in her dreaming and sleep as her lovers walk through in the coach. She's pretty and brave, isn't she? Pretty and brave, isn't she? All of the lovers are talk of their notes, flowers that they never sent. And wasn't she easy? And isn't she pretty and pink? The one who insists he was first in the line is the last to remember her name.
Quads forever. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. Welcome back to the show. Today we've been talking about our roller derby bout coming up next Saturday, January 31st. It's a doubleheader, so you get 2 for 1 for $10 in advance. That's at the Sunnyland Hockey Rink, 9300 Coral Reef Drive. You can get tickets at miamirollerderby.com. Just click on the brown paper ticket link. Kids 10 and under are free. And it's a doubleheader featuring the juniors team, Miami's Little Misdemeanors versus the Jacksonville Roller Rebels, followed by the Vice City Rollers and the Molly Roger Roller Girls. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. The juniors team starts up at 6 p.m., followed by the women's team at 8 o'clock. So come check out some fast-paced roller derby, hard-hitting action. And with us today, we do have another special guest from Molly Roger Roller Girls, and that's Mason Voorhees. Welcome, Mason.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, good. Welcome to the show. So Molly Roger, appreciate it. So Molly Roger Roller Girls, what does Molly Roger mean?
Molly Rogers is actually partially because we live on the Treasure Coast. A lot of ships have shipwrecked over the years on the Treasure Coast. So it was like a kind of like candid spin-off of the Jolly Roger. So as a female version, we were the Molly Rogers.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I'm curious, Mason Voorhees, where's that come from?
My last name is Voorhees. So as a joke, people used to call me Jason. And so I was like, well, the last name is badass as mine. I decided to keep it and just play on it. It worked out really well.
No kidding. That is really, really cool.
I was completely shocked that it wasn't taken. I actually searched around and so when I got on Google and different things like that, I made an email and I'm like, well, shit, if it's not taken on an email, you're good then.
Well, thank you. That's really, really cool. So you've been playing roller derby for about 5 years now, is that right?
Yeah, I've been playing on and off for about 5.
And how'd you get into it?
As a teenager, I kind of got into drugs being in the public school, and I skated as a child. So I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm better than this. I needed to find something to occupy my time, So I had an actual coach that used to coach me that was like, hey, we're starting a roller derby team. You could be great at this. You're a big girl and you like to hit people.
So welcome to roller derby.
For you. Yeah, pretty much. This could be wonderful for you. And I got in there. We went wheels deep with it. I was like, go big or go home. And I loved the sport. It kept me busy. And it made me want to, be better. It made me want to do better. So it all really worked out as a godsend.
That's amazing. And you're a mom, right? You're of a 2-year-old, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes,
So,
I have a 2-year-old son and I also have a 3-year-old stepdaughter.
wow. So that's incredible. And let me ask you, I know what roller derby does for me. Like it makes me better at everything because I let out all this frustration. What do you feel has been like your biggest growth in terms of being in roller derby?
What's my biggest role?
Like your biggest growth? Like what have you seen? Like what kind of effect?
Probably a lot of times is patience. It takes out a lot of aggression. People tell me how pleasant I am at work, and I work in customer service. They're like, that is amazing. What do you do? I'm like, man, I play roller derby 3 times a week. It is amazing. It's fabulous. And so I'm like, if you're you're an upset person all the time, maybe you should play some roller derby. I've actually told a couple of my customers that, because when they start to get aggravated, I'm like, you should play some roller derby.
It's funny you say that, because when I started, my derby name is Anger, and my friends named me that because I was just anger management issues left and right. And now I tell people that, and they're like, huh? But you seem so nice. And I'm just like, yeah. It's roller derby.
I took a month or two off, and my fiance pretty much was like, if you don't go back to derby, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to get a divorce.
No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So why you said, okay, so you're with Molly Roger Roller Girls. You've been playing for several years now. And Molly Roger, they're actually they're a WFTA Apprentice League, right?
That's right. We started out last year, and we've kind of been going strong with it, kind of deciding where we want to go as a league and exactly what it is that we want to do, where we want to be at in the next couple of years. And we've been working towards that. And actually, Jacksonville's helped us a lot to achieve that goal. So it's been an exciting ride. We played with Gainesville last year just to kind of see what it was like to play an apprentice team and an actual WFTA team. And I mean, the stakes are high when you get to that point, because girls are just, they know what's at stake, and they know, they've been there, and they know what it's like to be an apprentice team. So, it raises the bar a lot.
Absolutely. It's like, it's challenging. Like I know when I went to Savannah last season, these girls right after that game, they became WFTA Apprentice. And I remember that was one of the hardest games it's the hardest game I've ever played. I mean, these girls were tough, dude. Not only that, but like, okay, so I'm 5 feet tall, and I'm standing right in front of this girl, and she looks like 6'2", and I'm like, this is incredible. So it's kind of, I was getting experience, but realizing like, man, this is a whole other level for me. And it pushed me, and I did things that I didn't expect to do. And so that's really, really cool that you challenge each other. Iron sharpens iron, right?
Absolutely. It gets you in a totally different mindset too, because, you always want to win. But when you get up to that level, it's like, okay, I don't just want to win. I have to win now. It's like, I want this. If I want to go here, if I want to play with this team, then I need to do this. So, I mean, it definitely puts you in that mindset and just really raises all of the bars. And, definitely you learn a lot of things playing with those people too. Things that you may not have completely thought of from the get-go. And, you're like, I didn't even know that rule was in effect, because, some of the other teams may not do that. I remember the first time I had a blocker jump back on me as a jammer, and I track cut, because you just don't think of little things like that in the spur of the moment. But when you're playing those teams, it's like a second nature. They're not even thinking about it anymore.
Right.
They know what it takes to win.
Exactly. So the experience, you know exactly what you need to do when you're on the track, and you just become more confident. Like I've been actually, me and Anger have been training really, really hard this year. We've been doing this Mary Chaos Theory Challenge, and we're ready. Like, and we're at that point where like, you know what, we're going to go all out, and we're going to be the best that we can be at this. And, it's the new year, new season. We're super excited to play, and we want to be the best, the absolute best that we want to be, that we're going to be. So
absolutely.
What Molly Rogers, what do you guys got coming up?
We have quite a few games coming up. We've already started setting out our calendar. We also do a couple different fundraisers that haven't fully been set up yet. And we also do charities and different things as well, and public appearances. So, I mean, we always have something going on. So there's never a month where you're like, okay, I just have one game this month. There's always, if we only have one game, we're like, okay, we're recruiting that night. We have, we're going here to recruit that night, or we have a charity on Saturday. Are you going to the charity Saturday? So, I mean, we're in constant time with each other. So it's like at that point, you're expecting that you have something going on that weekend. It gets to the point where sometimes people will be like, hey, are you busy? Or, you want to go do something? I'm like, I check with my derby girl.
Yeah. I think I saw a meme online.
Does 2017 sound good for you?
Let's see what we got. There's a meme online that I saw that it said, I'm sorry, I can't. I have derby. And like, that's
basically our motto.
Like, oh, what are you doing Friday night? Sorry, I can't. I have derby. What are you doing next weekend? I'm sorry, I can't. I have derby. But it's awesome.
Yeah. It is. It's nice to know that you have girls that, will have your back, and a lot of us, even outside of the track, will sit there and talk to each other if there are personal problems going on, especially if it affects Derby. We really take some extra time to talk to those girls if they need assistance, give them the assistance that they need, Some run into financial troubles. Our team, has, a system in place to, help them out so that they don't have to discontinue playing. And the rest of the team doesn't even, know that person is getting financial assistance, because a lot of times you don't want somebody to know that,
Right.
So let me ask you, so why is it, I'm sorry, why is it important for, Derby players to get financial assistance to be able to play? Like, why would someone need it?
I mean, if they had a child that was sick or something that occurred and, had to go assist with a parent or a grandparent and maybe had to spend money to get up north and then had to come back and they're like, I'm sorry, I just don't have the extra money, to pay the dues. I had to pay these, unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
We have, something put off to the side where if they need it, and it's a valid reason and it's not like, sorry, I went out drinking and spent too much money, that would never fly. But I mean, if it's like an unforeseen circumstance
that's cool.
It cannot be helped. They'll say, fill out this form, we'll assist, and you never pay nothing. So, they'll pay like $10 that month, but because they're getting the assistance, they're going to be required to make flyers for this bout and do this and maybe pick this up and stuff like that. Like, it's
Contribute your time.
Free.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a really big help because, dues and travel time, that's gas money, and it gets, it can be, we got skates and gear that we have to, re-up on and stuff like that. So it's definitely an investment. It's a rewarding investment, personally, but that's really cool that you guys really have this community where you help each other out. And that I think extends through all teams, and the community that we have. Like, I know if I go to Texas or something, like I could, call somebody up from the Derby League there and be like, hey, do you mind if I crash on your couch for a day? And that's how we support each other and how we grow together. And that is one of the coolest things about playing roller derby.
Yep. I love Sucky Seidel up in Tampa because she'll call and she'll be like, are you coming? Are you coming? You can sleep on my couch. You can hang out and you can do this and you can do this. I think last time I went and visited her, we went and just floated on the river for like half the day before the bout and just like hung out.
That's really cool.
So it is, when you start meeting people from other teams and you go to visit and you're going to be staying over, they know what there is to do around there instead of you looking at your teammate and like, I don't live here, you don't live here, what do you want to do?
Exactly. Well, we're happy to have you. I can't wait for you to come down for us to have a beer at the after party and just kick some ass at roller derby. Check us out January 31st at miamirollerderby.com. You can get tickets. And we're coming up next is Super Pie from Molly Roger Roller Girls. This is Wilma Shakespeare,
Anger,
and Disaster Chief
from Miami's Vice City Rollers, inviting you to tune in to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. New shows every Saturday at 9 p.m.
with encore replays Monday at noon and 10 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m.,
and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and again at 10 p.m.
Find out everything you've ever wanted to know about roller derby in the 305.
Get the 411 on the women's team,
the men's team,
and even the juniors.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio.
On 247miami.tv.
show before the fresh meat gets rotten. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. Back to the show before the fresh meat gets rotten. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from Miami's Bi-City Rollers. Welcome to the last segment of today's show of Rink Rash Radio. We are here with Mike from Miami Brawlers, the men's roller derby league.
Hello.
Welcome, Mike. We also have Piper Collins, or Super Pie, from the Molly Roger Roller Girls. She's coming down, and guess what? It's her first bout. Welcome to the show, Super Pie.
Hi.
And so how do you feel about popping your bout cherry?
I'm super excited. I did my first scrimmage with a lot of the Miami girls, so I'm kind of excited to play against them now in my first real bout.
Aww.
It's all like kismet and serendipity and stuff.
Well, we're super excited to have you come play. I remember my first bout was just like nerve-wracking and anxious and excitement at the same time.
Yeah, my heart starts pounding just thinking about it.
So
in a good way, in a really good way.
Yeah, absolutely. So Super Pie, where did that come from?
Well, my name is Piper, and growing up, my family would always call me Pie, and it kind of became like a joke. They would write the pie symbol. So actually it was right before I joined roller derby, I went to Comic-Con, and my friend's like, you should be Super Pie. And my husband made me a shirt, and it was the Superman symbol with the pie symbol inside. And that was like my joke character. And then I shortly after that joined derby, and I was like, well, that was just perfect. I already had my name.
That's so cool. I know. Once you said Comic-Con, I was like, what?
Or it was MegaCon, excuse me, MegaCon. I did go to Comic-Con when I lived in San Diego.
Oh, the big one. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we could definitely talk about that all day.
Yeah.
So, Piper, you're also a massage therapist, right?
Yes, I've been a massage therapist for about 8 years now.
And
in fact, now I have a whole new clientele of all my derby sisters.
I bet.
I run a bout week special. And
I actually could use some massage therapy services.
Do you have a bout day special? Because my neck.
Maybe I'll bring my chair with me to the bout.
What? Oh my God, that would be amazing. Yeah, no, and it's so funny because actually last night at practice, I kind of got skate raped. And so what does that mean, right? Yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. I basically fell on my skate, and it was right on my butt cheek. And yeah, and it's cramping and it hurts, and I've been trying to stretch it all day, and I'm like, man, I could really use a licensed massage therapist right about now.
Yeah.
So
I'm coming, just not immediately.
So how do you reconcile massage therapy and roller derby? I mean, like, you use your hands for work, right? You know.
Yeah, it's getting injured, I think, is always a real fear for anybody. And for me, that's almost part of the rush too, because I'm also a mother, and I got stuff to do, so I don't want to break anything or permanently injure. But they also teach you how to fall on your pads pretty quick. And I learned relatively quickly that that's important. So falling small and not leaving those fingers out to get rolled over, and keeping your weight forward so you don't keep falling on your tailbone. That was a tough lesson I had to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
In fact, I even twisted on my hip one time and was midair screaming, "Not the tailbone!" Took it right in the glute, but I could handle that because I had hit my tailbone in the beginning. Because I'm really tall.
How tall are you?
I have a bad habit of. I'm 5'11" without skates.
Wow.
Damn. So on skates, I'm really, really tall, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's really bad because if somebody hits me just right, I go over and I'll fall on my ass
You could say yes.
And then that hurts, especially when you do it a few times. In fact, that's one of the things I give the new freshies advice. You have knee pads for a reason. That's why you want to fall forward, because it hurts.
It does hurt to fall on your ass. Since
yeah.
I did get skate raped last night, so I could testify. So, how'd you get into derby?
I actually ran into a girl I went to high school with who is, I believe, one of, if not a founder, she's almost an original Molly Rogers, Snap Happy. And she and I actually went to high school together, and I saw her at this event that was a 50s themed party. And I was there with a community group called the East Coast Bombshells. So we were all dressed up, in the 50s era pinup girl look. And she was part of a burlesque troupe that did like a cabaret performance. And as she was doing that, I'm like, I recognize that girl taking her clothes off.
Wait. Did you recognize her before or after her taking her clothes off?
It was sort of mid, because in theater, a lot of times there's quick costume changes.
Right.
And we had done a play together where we were it was a lot of 2-minute segments. So we were literally running off stage, ripping our clothes off and running back on. My high school in that regard was fairly liberal. But yeah, it was actually as she was doing striptease, and I'm like, I know her. And I started talking to her, and she's like, you should come play roller derby. And I had a few glasses of wine, so I'm like, derby? Like where you hit people and stuff, and throwing elbows? And she's trying to explain to me the actual aspects of the sport. And I just wasn't receiving. I don't know if you've ever tried to explain it to someone, like, wait, no, but you hit each other, right? Like punching, and it's sort of comical. But it turned out that where we practiced was right around the corner from my house, and everything kind of fit. And I've done a lot of different athletic things. I like Zumba, I like working out, and I don't know. I just walked into that practice and saw chicks on skates bashing into each other, and something inside me lit up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm like, I found my sport. I'm home.
And you've been playing for how long now?
That was when I ran into Snap. That was at the end of March. So I pretty much started the end of March, beginning of April. So I'm at about 9 months now.
Awesome.
And my first scrimmage, like when I graduated fresh meet, my first scrimmage was the one down in Key West.
Yeah, I remember that.
Was actually Key West's first scrimmage.
Right, the Key West Derby Dames.
Yeah, and as a new Derby person, that was super exciting for me, because I'm like, I got to be part of Derby history. This is the first game ever here, and my first game. And so I don't know, that was just really cool to me. That's something I love about the sport. There's so many different firsts, and it's such an amazing group of people, even within your own league and other leagues. I don't know. There's just something about the type of person that's attracted to this sport.
Yep.
For sure.
That really just gets me super excited.
What are you looking forward to the most coming down to Miami next weekend?
Probably the crazy feeling right before my first jam, when that guy or girl will scream 5 seconds, and my heart's gonna be in my ears.
Yep.
And my blood pounding, and my adrenaline's gonna be flowing, and I have a feeling the rest of it's gonna be an amazing blur.
Absolutely.
Just about.
That sounds right.
Pretty much.
There's a lot of chaos that goes on the track, especially in your first bout. You're still trying to figure out what to pay attention to, what to tune out, and your heart is just racing. So what's cool, Piper, is that you're also participating in the Chaos Theory Challenge, and Anger here and I have been doing it as well. So it's a lot of why don't you tell us a little about the Chaos Theory Challenge and some of the stuff that you've been able to do with that in terms of Derby?
Well, Mary Chaos is obviously awesome in Derby and an amazing trainer, and very knowledgeable. So she started this group for a season starter, and we kind of talk about nutrition and making sure we're giving enough protein and good carbs, slow burning, and really knowing what we're putting in our body, because if we're going to play this really intense sport, we should be ready for it.
Absolutely.
And she's really big on incorporating weight training into it. And that appealed to me because right after I graduated fresh meet, I almost immediately twisted my ankle and was out for like 2 weeks. And as I'm sitting there, every time something happens that prevents me from playing Derby, I sit and think, how can I work on this? Because I'm not done ever. So what can I do? And at that time I was like, I got to incorporate weight training. So I had tried a lot of it on my own. But it's really nice with somebody with that much experience to kind of help us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Devise a program that not only will we use while it's going on, but you have that for life. Nobody says you have to stop when that's over. So that was really cool. I'm still sort of trying to figure it out because there is a ton of information in there. But like you were saying, going to the gym and doing your stuff, and when I feel sore, and then the next time I scrimmage, you feel stronger and
Yes.
more powerful from it.
Absolutely. I was
And,
actually, with just incorporating some of the lift days, some strength training, like I'm way more powerful in terms of my stance. I'm more explosive. My reaction time has gotten a lot quicker. I mean, really, honestly, I've only been doing it for 2 weeks, and
well, yeah, it's amazing what little things will make big differences.
Yeah, exactly.
all right. So
like
we've got you coming down to Miami
Mhm.
next Saturday, January 31st. Miami's Vice City Rollers versus Molly Roger Roller Girls. It's your first official bout.
Arg.
And we couldn't be more excited to have you to be able to be part of your first derby bout experience.
Oh, I'm really excited too. I can't wait.
Yay.
So I guess I'll see you on the track.
You will see us definitely on the track. Be part of the pregame show if you can. It's 2 hours before the game. We're also going to be doing a live feed on 247miami.tv or also on our website at miamirollerderby.com. So if you can't, come down to the show, if you're a fan, you can't come down, check out the live feed. $10 in advance, miamirollerderby.com. Doors open at 5:30, and it's at Sunnyland Hockey Rink, 9300 Coral Reef Drive. That's the corner of 152nd Street and US 1, right next to the Palmetto Golf Course. Kids 10 and under are free. $10 in advance. You get 2 for 1. You can't beat that. Fast pace, hard-hitting action. You get to watch Super Pie, on her first bout. And, Shakespeare, of course, myself, and Anger. We're just going to be kicking some ass. So come watch us kick butt on January 31st, Saturday. That's next Saturday. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. And we couldn't be more excited. First bout of the year. Thank you so much, Piper, for joining us on the show. And we can't wait to see what you got, girl.
I'm excited too.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right. We'll see you next Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us for Rink Rash Radio. Tune in next week, the pregame show for 2 hours on 247miami.tv. And we're going to be, live streaming the game. So if you can't make it, come check us out and on 247miami.tv or miamirollerderby.com. We'll be look at our Facebook page. We'll be posting the link up there. We're posting pictures, and that's hashtag Vice City versus Molly Roger. So if you got pictures on Instagram, on Twitter, post them up. And we're so excited. Can't wait to see you guys there. miamirollerderby.com.